in this world, with the online world, is we're finding that you got to be more vulnerable and not be scared of being transparent, because people appreciate that vulnerability, appreciate that honesty, and they will start connecting more with you.
G'day folks, welcome back to another Sauna Sessions with Shea. We've got a very special guest today. We're doing it digital today. We're not in the hot box. I would have loved to have this guy up in the hot box to do the breathwork, the ice bath, but there may be another one coming, because I have a feeling we're maybe not going to be able to cover everything in one podcast today, but we'll see how we 100%. Go. My special guest today is Andre Lategan. How are you, mate?
Good, Shea, mate. That's so good awesome, to be here with you. It's not the sauna, mate, but it's close enough.
It's not, look, we're not. There's no steam, but we just got to feel like we're in a traditional sauna. Just a little bit of eucalyptus going in the nose. It's a visual thing. Exactly. Mate, for all the punters at home, you have created this company with your brother. Is that right? BizVideo?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Okay. My brother, myself. Yeah.
Yep. How long has that been up and running for?
So we've been running for about 15 years now, just short of 15. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy where time goes.
Yep. Well, mate, the reason I wanted to get you on for a chat is because I think you can teach everyone at home a few tips and tricks about doing video, but also storytelling. I've seen you in action because a guy that I work with, Dwayne Pierce, he had you on his event to talk about storytelling specifically and the power of video in your business and branding. And mate, I was running around like a headless chook, but I was listening in and like, holy hell, there's some absolute crackers of points that I haven't even considered, but also watching a room full of builders just taking notes and just taking it all in, and then thinking, hang on, I got to go home and implement a lot of this because this is good stuff. Yeah, mate, it was a credit to you that you did a really good job just to get that point across that, this could be really beneficial to your brand and to your business and to help your business along. You don't have to be struggling all the time to, there's better ways of doing things, and there's smarter ways of doing things, and I think you got that across really well, mates. Hats off to you for that.
Appreciate that, Shea. And great work with you, mate.
Organising the event. I appreciate it. Yeah. Now, mate, just to get us out, get the cogs flowing, get the conversation flowing, we've got 5 quick questions to get us going.
Go for it.
Here we go, mate. Question number 1. When you're directing someone on set, are you an action or when you're ready kind of guy?
Action.
You're in action. Okay, so cut action. I don't know if it's a Clint Eastwood is a when you're ready. Just whenever you're ready.
Yeah, when you're ready. Yeah, step into that.
Yeah. There's no precise thing, but like some people are just the camera's rolling. Whatever you feel like when you're ready. But so you're a definite action cut kind of guy.
Yeah, I think it's just like an action. Okay, are you ready? Kind of, are you ready? But then it's like action.
Yep, gotcha. Okay, so everyone knows what's going on straight off the bat. Yeah. Okay, like it. Question number 2, mate. What's been one of your toughest times on set with a client?
Oh man, toughest. I think it's been, especially in like interviews and so on, where the person he couldn't
Clams
talk
up.
too much. Yeah, he just kind of froze up, and that was obviously early days, but it was freezing up. I think. Yeah.
I think some of the hardest ones I've had, mate, is like if you don't get someone to talk, you don't get paid.
Yeah, that's right.
If you've got someone who is, I don't want to do this, my boss made me do this, and comes in with a bad attitude.
Yeah.
And it's like, you've got to have little tricks and tools to try and get them out of their shell. Have you got any little tricks, mate, that you use just to get someone, like to break the ice, just to get them, opening up and talking?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of what you're doing today, Shea. We're just having a chat and stuff, and just kind of seeing what's their hobby or what's something of passion to them.
Yep.
And generally that kind of breaks the ice. So it's just trying to find something that you're relatable to, which then makes it like a conversation. And that's what we want.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, nice one, mate. Question 3. Are you a Sony, Nikon, Canon, or all the other brands kind of guy?
That's a good one. Used to be Panasonic. And
Panasonic, yes.
My latest camera is a Canon. So there's so many cameras I would love to have, but Canon probably right now.
Okay, Canon's it. All right, nice. I'm a Sony kind of guy. It's kind of like we're bodyboarders and surfers. We're competing that way. But
so true.
But it's whatever works for you, isn't it? Like
exactly.
So
tell that story.
Nice, mate. Hey, so let's just say we're on a shoot day. You're the kind of guy that formats his SD cards before every shoot, or do you just leave it from the last shoot? What kind of guy are you when it comes to
format? I think
you
I've
start
been
with
on
a clean
shoots.
slate.
Yeah, because where it's like pretty much full, and then you shoot, and then suddenly it goes full recording. You're like, oh,
Yep.
Now you got to figure this thing out.
I'm glad you said that, mate, because the interview may have just ended there. If you, I'm a clean slater. It has to be clean card, and I need to know that because I hate having to go down the filing system, and because everyone's done it at some stage where you've just kept, because you've run out of time, you just start to hit the record button, but you've got all these files from your last shoot, and you've got to sift through that to find the ones that you've got.
It.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing.
And then you don't know if you backed it up as well. And you're like,
spot on.
Did I back these last ones up? Am I sure there's a couple copies backed up? So yeah, definitely.
So how does your system work for backing up? Do you back up to 2 devices?
Yeah. So basically, generally it would be like shoot happens today. It would be backing it up today.
Okay.
Not even go to sleep, even if it's late at night. And then it's pretty much just backing it up on a hard drive, backing up another hard drive, and then I'll have like an archive off-site kind of thing. So,
so 3. You've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, mate.
So
nice.
at least 3 hard drives in case one decides to go for a sleep.
Mate, I think we're from the same peas from the same pod. I can't go to bed until that footage has gone.
Oh yeah.
At least 2 devices. I can sleep well knowing that, because you can get up the next day and have a shoot on, and but it's a different shoot from the last, and you format that card, and I'm sure there's a few shooters out there that have done that, and they've lost all that footage. And you can see the format thing happening, and your heart just sinks because everything you did yesterday is gone.
It's worst case
scenario. Yeah. You know, you see posts sometimes from wedding videographers or photographers that have like, and to me, have you ever had a corrupted SD card?
Yeah, I think I've had one where it's like I lost a part of a shoot because of that. Yeah.
Yep. Mate, I think I've used all my luck up over the last 10, 15 years of shooting, because in the last year and a half, and 2 shoots of mine, I've had corrupted cards, and I actually heard it happening. It was like, something's not right here, and then the card is actually buggered up on twice. And if that happens, it's just one of those days you just got to write it off and say it's a bad day, because there's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
A corrupted card is a corrupted card. So, yeah. All right, mate. Last question. What's been one of the most rewarding shoots that you've had to date, and you just sat back on the couch after and gone, yes, I've nailed that. That was just awesome.
That's a good one. I think the most rewarding shoots are ones that you have to capture on the day. You don't have another go again, and you've just got to be in that. There's one little moment that something happens, and sometimes that would be for like more like event style or things that are very unique that happens. I can't point it to one specific shoot, but it's definitely those moments where you feel like bang, like camera worked, it didn't freeze on me, I focused it.
And you just nailed everything. Your focus is spot on, but you captured the moment as well.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I find 100%. Those moments, and it doesn't have, like, because obviously sometimes it's just off the cuff, and you capture a moment that you didn't see coming, but it almost doesn't do it justice to look through the viewfinder. You actually look up beyond the camera to see what's happening, because you don't want to miss that experience, because there's 100%. Something really cool happening. Yeah. And the viewfinder doesn't do it justice.
It doesn't.
So, there's magical moments where, and it's authentic, it's real. You're capturing something that is like, oh, I'm so glad that I was rolling for this. Yeah. And it's, if you do it enough, you're going to capture it's like, a shooting star. If you're out there filming every night, eventually you'll get one. But
that's right.
Every now and again, you'll just get this moment in time that's like, I'm so glad. And you can show the client that back, and that's in their library for the rest of their lives, because they just love that moment, and it's something that a memory they can always, turn back to.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
So true.
There you go, mate. There's 5 questions done and dusted.
That's
now, mate,
awesome,
I didn't mention either that you've also got your own podcast, the Inspired Builders podcast. How's that going?
Yeah. That's good. It's been really cool, because obviously being part of storytelling and stuff, and working with builders over Australia and New Zealand, that's been a big thing, is their story. Every builder is so unique. And so we kind of started this podcast a few years ago, and it kind of led into Inspired Builders, where it's about telling the story of a builder. And a lot of times it's being vulnerable in that story, where the builder doesn't just give you all the successes, but the stuff he went through, and then hopefully that inspires someone else and lifts the industry. Like Dwayne Pierce always says, it's lifting the industry. So it's a bit of a passion thing for us on this side, for sure. Yeah.
You probably, so obviously been doing this for 15 years, mate. You probably saw back in the start of your career that everyone was just probably showing glossy photos, glossy videos, the end product. and all the good stuff. But builders are now starting to become vulnerable. They're, as you said, like they're experiencing and telling about the bad times as well. And I think that's very refreshing to maybe newcomers to the industry, that it's not all, chocolate and rainbows. It's there's going to be some really tough times. But mate, I don't know about you, but I, being in the industry from an outsider, which is kind of what you're doing too, I think builders have got some of the hardest jobs in the world.
Oh mate, you're so right there, Shea. It's difficult, mate. Like it's just running a business, but then it's building someone's home. It's the biggest investment someone will make, and just the stress, mate. I can't even imagine how they do it, to be honest.
Yeah. Like when we've got a quote, mate, we've got line items, I don't know, we may have 10 line items. These guys have got pages, it's like what hinges to go on this door, what light is going to go here, it's just crazy the amount of, data and information that these guys need to put a house together. And, mate, and then there's also the on-site the physicalities of putting a house together, You're up in any temperature, 40-degree heat or -3, whatever, and you got to put a roof on and it's raining and it's like, so it's not easy, mate. And so, I anyone that goes into the building trade is...
I take my hat off for them, mate.
Yes. I can't say it too many times, mate. I haven't got the trademark on that.
I love this hat. Is very comfortable, by the way.
Thanks, mate. Well, thanks for wearing it. Yeah, it does. It suits you, mate. When you get a sauna down there, mate, you'll be able to regulate your temperature straight off the bat. So you're in a good
100%.
space.
And I'm keen for a sauna, mate. I love a sauna. So
mate, you're always welcome. Anytime you come up, there's to my right of me is the ice bath, which is sitting at about 7 degrees at the moment, and then to the left of me is my drum kit. So if you like playing drums, you can jump on that, and then out the back is the barrel sauna. So you're always welcome, mate. Anytime you come. Yeah, you're down the Gold Coast as well, aren't you? So
yeah.
I'm Sunshine
just
Coast,
down in
Gold
Burleigh.
Coast.
Yeah,
Burleigh.
Yeah.
Okay, nice, mate.
Yeah,
nice, mate. What other patterns have you seen with builders? Because obviously by trade they're very good generally, and they're passionate about swinging a hammer or using a screwdriver. When it comes to the media side of things, that doesn't come as naturally. What patterns have you seen that builders get into, either positive or negative, that you've sort of had to help them, coax them to, overcome fears and of jumping online and actually recording videos can be a great thing for your business. What have you seen, mate, over your 15 years?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Shea. I mean, as we just said, they're like builders. They deal with so much, and a lot of what we found is a lot of builders come through the trade sort of journey, get their trade, and then they become a builder, and so they're very good at their craft. But a lot of times, when they step into that business realm, now it's like, well, I've got to put myself out there. I've got to connect with the right clients so they can see the value in me, so that they will get me, to build for them. And so a big thing that over this last 15 years is the more we're doing this business, we're realizing that every builder is unique. Every builder has their value, has a specific DNA that they're really good at. And so what we're finding is that the problem that builders have is that when they have to quote and then sometimes missing out a quote by like $5,000 or something, as small as that. And sometimes it's not so much that they were more expensive, but it's that the client didn't understand the value that this builder could provide.
Good one. Yep.
Yeah. And so
they understand the value, but they haven't passed that on maybe to the client. And so
exactly,
there's a disconnect there.
Yeah. And that's why there's this big thing. And I believe this for any business, for any person. We've all been created in a way where we've all got that special thing in us, that special unique talent or gift or whatever that is. Yes, you might be building, and that might be for a lot of builders, but each builder has something very unique in them that they are really good at. And then the goal is to kind of find that uniqueness and then be able to clearly communicate that so that clients out there will see that value, and it'll be clients that will appreciate that type of value. So that's kind of what we've kind of covered up, is that the more we go into this game, we're realizing that every person is so unique, and for every builder, there's the right type of client that will really love working with them.
Nice, mate. I like it. Mate, just to go back a little bit, how did you specifically get into the building realm when it comes to shooting video?
Yeah.
did you see a gap in the market? Were you a builder? Like, did you wanted to go into a trade, or did you see that these guys were really struggling and needed some help in this space?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it all started about 15 years ago. We kind of did videos for all businesses. And a big thing at that stage that we realized, and this is from my side, being English second language from South Africa originally. And I knew like there was something in us that we were able to provide value to someone else. And that was obviously through video. And so really struggling to communicate and struggling to kind of get the value across, that started taking me and my brother on this path of what if we can figure out, define what makes a person like ourselves or a business unique, and then be able to communicate that through video. So we went on that journey over the last 15 years we started with businesses, and then we kind of started doing a few building businesses, and we started realizing that, builders, they work with clients and there's a huge sense of trust that needs to be built. It's huge amounts of money. And so you need to be able to connect to people, and people need to be able to trust you. And so slowly but surely, we kind of moved into that builder realm where it was like, well, we can really help them really define what makes them unique and then communicate that out there in their marketing and their branding and so on.
Nice. Because, mate, this may ring true with yourself, but now doing this podcast for the last 2.5, 3 years, the big thing that I've noticed that I feel for these guys is they're passionate about building. They're passionate about swinging that hammer, putting up a frame, setting up trusses, doing the physical side of things, and that's why they get into it. But it's never been taught to them the business side of things. They're still putting their receipts and invoices in the ashtray. It's all under the table. Like the actual running of the business falls by the wayside, and then they fall out of love with what they were passionate about to start with. Have you noticed a lot of that happening? Because to me, when I see that, it's like, and then the thing that they're so into and they're so passionate about, they just don't love anymore because there's been too much stress. They've just been under the hammer. They don't know their numbers. There's all these things that just add to sleepless nights, depression, anxiety, and they fall out of love with their passion. And it's such a shame. And do you see a bit of that happening?
100%. There's like so many of the builders that we work with, and some of them we've been working with for like 6-7 years. And you see that over and over again. They're super passionate, but then you take on this business thing, like you say, Shea, and then suddenly it's like having to deal with all this stuff. They love the craft of building, but now, and I think it is a very unique thing. And that's where there's a lot of opportunity in these building businesses, kind of, if you can set up your business in a way that you can still do of what you're good at and what you love, but get other people within your business to kind of help out with that. But that is a very common thing. Because, you see that every day. Yeah,
it's a real shame. Because I think we're both in these positions where we're like an outsider looking in. We're not in the nitty gritty of, the actual putting together, like building a house. But from the outside, sometimes you don't have your blinkers on and you can see what's going on. And so, hang on, maybe you shouldn't do that. So I think you're in a very privileged position, or in a position where you can go, hang on, maybe if you just adjust this and do something this way, maybe that will help you to. And like builders losing confidence in their ability, as I've seen a lot of it. And you just talked before about vulnerability. That's now starting to flip, and people are starting to say, look, I really am struggling with this. And I think that's a big thing too, that builders are starting to realize they're not superhuman. They're vulnerable, they're imperfect, just like everyone else. But when people start sharing those stories, and people start to go, well, hang on, mate, because as crazy it is, I've heard it a million times. A lot of people just think it's them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's just me. No one else is going through the same shit that I'm going through. Right. Yeah. And then when people start becoming vulnerable and telling stories, and people go, oh, well, that's exactly what I'm going through. And as crazy as that sounds, people just feel like it's all on them. And there's no way of, and no one else is having these problems. But I think opening up that, that valve to say, I'm not perfect. I've got a lot of work to do, but I'm also willing and able to be flexible to learn. Exactly, is a big thing. Yeah,
because that's what you're finding, kind of like on the Instagram world now. You're seeing, like, let's say one builder looking at another builder, they see all these flashy projects, and man, that guy he's just killing it. He's building these amazing homes, these architectural homes and stuff, and really. We had a story, like one of the builders that we catch up with like every month was telling us a story about this other builder that he ran into at a coffee shop one morning.
Yep.
And when he went up to this builder, he's like, "Hey man, like I've just been watching you, and you're like, you just look like you're smashing it."
Yeah.
And then this builder opened it up and said, "Mate, like, yeah, what you're seeing is there, it's happening, but you don't know about everything else that's happening. We just had like one of the pipes burst in one of the houses we're building at the moment, and it's just cost us like 30, 40 grand just to fix out of our own pocket, and it's just all these headaches and stuff." And I think sometimes we can see these other builders out there, or the builder can see another builder going, "Oh, he's smashing, he's got it all together."
Yep.
But like you say, Shay, them sharing those stories, it just shows that we're all human. We're all in this journey together, even if we're two builders that might be quoting against each other, but we can journey together, kind of thing.
And it's kind of rewiring the system as well, I think, in some ways, that because it's a tough game. Back in the old days, back in the 70s and 80s, it's like, fuck it up, get it done. No time, don't show me tears, for God's sake.
Come
builders
on, mate.
don't cry. We're hardened people that get the job done. So just suck it up and get it done. And that actually doesn't lead to, if anything, people close down more and become, internalize things more. It's great to see an industry which is, and you just said to me before about, the pressure makes diamonds. Builders are under a lot of pressure to do a lot of things and do it as fast as possible. And you probably notice also they're people pleasers by trade. Like they love
100%.
to just make sure that everything's okay. They don't, and sometimes don't set expectations around that. And, that can sometimes backfire on them. But it's a tough trade, but like the flip side of that is builders are now starting to share their stories, become vulnerable, tell everyone they're not perfect. Also capture and show on Instagram that this is my burst pipe, as you said before. This is just going to cost me, 20 grand to fix. Okay, that's another day. It's crap, but that's life. So
that's right.
Yeah. So, mate, with your storytelling as well, are you also showing a lot of the bad things that can happen to help educate other builders and also help build the brand? Is that something that you guys do?
That's a good point, because I think we are encouraging all the builders that we work with to start doing that. Just pull it up. I know Dwayne does a lot of this, kind of pull something up and just talks about the not so beautiful and polished things of a job when something does happen or goes wrong or has been done wrong. I think that is something that we're starting to encourage our builders a lot more, because a lot of the stuff that we have done is very polished, and it's a story, and it's really taking what makes them unique and put that in like a nutshell of 2 minutes and getting that out to connect with people. But the more we're finding is, and where things are moving with AI and in this world, with the online world, is we're finding that you got to be more vulnerable and not be scared of being transparent, because people appreciate that vulnerability, appreciate that honesty, and they will start connecting more with you. So the guys that are doing it are getting results from that.
So that's a really good point, mate. I 100% agree with everything you just said there. Do you find the first step with builders that contact you is that vulnerability, and it's like, okay, I've got to find a better way. This just isn't working. Is that the first point of contact with you and the clients that you work with?
Definitely. When clients generally contact us, they'll be talking to JP, who's my brother-in-law. He kind of deals on the front end to just see what they do, what's going on. Is there a way that we can help them? And that is a massive one. Definitely. It's a big thing is that they know they can do awesome stuff. They know they can build amazing houses. But sometimes it's just like, how do I show people so they can see that value in me?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, I think a big part of it's not anyone's fault that we've been brought up in a education system that hasn't really taught people how to run businesses, So, and then I think you go to TAFE, you go to university, you do all these things, and you still come out and go, hang on, there's a gap here. Like I've become a better builder. Like I can build a really cool house, and I think you back me up here and tell me if I'm wrong, but
yeah.
Every builder is generally gives 110% to the build, and they're very proud of their work, and they're very, the good builders that they really stand behind their product. So that's just out of the blocks. They're confident about that. They just know that, whatever they provide is going to be top quality. But it's 100%. The other side of, sitting in front of the computer and crunching the numbers and knowing your overheads and all that stuff that really sort of can be a bit daunting.
Yeah, definitely. It's taking on that mindset, that business mindset, which is just a different mindset altogether.
Yep. Agreed. Now, mate, I want to just delve into the storytelling side of things, because that's a big
Yeah,
component of
sure.
your business. When did you start adding in and saying, okay, well, we need to get your story out there, and how important storytelling is to your brand and to your business?
Yeah, that's a good question. A big thing that we've realized is that talent doesn't always win.
Mhm.
It is the most well-known product, or the builder that is able to communicate that value the best. If it's in a builder's case, is normally the one that will kind of succeed. So with the storytelling thing, we started realizing that there was this big thing of like, how does someone stand out and connect with the right people? And so it came down to this thing, well, you've got to first define what's that thing unique in you, because every person's got that unique DNA. And if you're able to define that, which is kind of like your why, your values and things like that, if you can define what that is, then utilizing storytelling, because that's the best way to kind of check, to connect with an audience. And then articulating that in a very clear story, then your chance of connecting with the right clients is a lot more.
Okay.
I hope I'm answering your question there.
Yeah. So just that's how you kind of start, is you start to find their values, their mission, their vision, or maybe what as you said, the why. And that's a good seed state for you to start putting together their story. And I suppose that's why they hire you, is to, okay, well, let's nut it out. Let's, you're asking them questions to find out what makes them tick as a builder.
Yes.
And that helps you put a story together around them. Because I'm reading this book at the moment. I've been reading it. I'm such a bad reader. I read a page and then I fall asleep.
I'm with you.
Stories that stick.
Oh,
have you read that one?
Yeah, I'm like halfway through. It's just behind me there on the. You can. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just in the back there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing around stories. But when I hear a story, I come alive and I visualize it. And it just becomes, 100%. And it doesn't matter what's going on. And especially in a world where there's dings and pings and everything's going on around you, if I hear a great story, I'm locked in. So the engagement is there. And I think a lot of it is because when someone starts telling a really good story, you can visualize it and you start to play it out in your head. And I think, back in the days how old are you, mate?
6 nearly.
36. Yeah. Okay. I'm 46. But
okay.
I wasn't at the stage where we used to sit around the radio and listen, because we only had 4 channels, or we didn't have TV at all. But I can imagine, back in the good old days where people used to sit around and listen to the radio, and you had to conjure up these visual stimuli in your head around what the story was. And in some ways it's kind of drip fed to us these days, but still the power is there to actually go, okay, I can see that guy walking down the road to go get 2 liters of milk. And then he's like, I need to get a sausage roll. And so you start visualizing what's going on, and that the connection there is just, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I can talk for days on this story thing. I'm so passionate about it. Yeah. And you're 100% right. Like back in the day, listening to audio or the radio, and you had to kind of visualize.
Yep.
And I guess that's the goal, is to be able to connect to people in that way. Because at the conference, at the event, was one specific thing that I did kind of share on was the science behind it. Because a lot of people have this false belief of, but I'm not. If it's like more of like a tougher builder, or someone's like, nah, I'm not all about this warm and fuzzy stuff. I just want it clear and just give me as it is. But the thing is, the science behind storytelling is a guy by the name of Professor Yuri Hassan. He, from Princeton University, did this whole test where they tested people, that a guy that would tell a story. Okay, they'd get the brain waves of the storyteller, and then they'd play that story at a different time to a different person in a different location. And the person that was listening to it had its brain waves. And as soon as he started listening to it, his brainwaves started synchronizing with the storytellers.
Yeah, wow.
And basically, like from a science perspective, what that tells us is that, like you said there, like with the person on the radio, they would tell the story and you would almost imagine that person walking to get the 2-liter bottle of milk from the store.
Yeah.
So, and that's the power of it. And it's actually so powerful.
And then when you link the authenticity and who you are as a person to that, it's almost not a fair game, because whoever's listening and is in touch with that, that frequency, to me, I'm starting to learn more about frequencies and understanding, we're not all on the same frequency.
Yeah.
That's what, especially if you're going to be a $10 million house, you want to be on the same frequency and you want to be on the same sort of, page as that builder. And, and if you're not, it could be a horrible ride, Yeah.
100%. Because the build is a long journey, especially a $10 million one.
Yeah. But it is kind of like a marriage. So once you sign that contract, it's like, okay, we're going to be together in each other's pockets for the next year.
Yeah.
You better like that person, So, yeah, mate, can you expand a bit more on the science of storytelling? Because I think you're going to teach me something here as well. Because I'm just always wanting to learn more about it. I know it's there. I've done a bit of research on it, but I don't think I've taken it to the levels that you have. You're actually researching. And I don't know, maybe how it applies to builders. Is it something that do you think it's something that's inherent in all of us?
That's the thing. And I think that's a good question because story is such a wide thrown around word. If you look back at at the beginning of the world, you had people storytelling. There's stories it's in the way we communicate. So story is if story is used in so much different ways. You can use story in visual imagery. You can use story in audio. It is a big thing. And I think from you're asking about the science of it. The big thing is that if we let's say we narrow down story to business and personal branding, that's something that we've been a part of. I feel like I'm only just uncovering the story thing as you're going through this as well, Shea.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been in this industry for how long? You've been doing it even before when I was still in school.
25 years. Yeah. So it's but I think there's no, storytelling is kind of like MIDI. You can study it for forever and still not probably understand it.
Yes.
But you understand it from your perspective, but there is you could go down that rabbit hole quite deep with storytelling and still pop up and go, hang on, I'm no clearer from when I started. But there's something about it that definitely, because you obviously are quite a visual person, a creative.
Yeah.
And you're constantly practicing that and, seeing how, could you maybe just give us a bit of with your, when you're on a building site, how do you sort of put the process together of telling a great story?
I think that's a good question, Shea, because the science of it, there's an understanding, like you say, that it's so deep you can go with it, but then there's a lot of that feeling side as well. And that's where I think a lot of storytelling, the more I'm diving into it, I'm going, man, there's so much to it. But I think storytelling is also being clear as well and having clarity. Being from more of a creative perspective myself, I don't know how you found this, Shea, but sometimes I can be a little bit up in the clouds with the creativity and the feeling and creating these stories and stuff. But sometimes the more I'm realizing is story is also being very clear on what is that message. And the more I'm realizing it is telling a great story is actually working out what's that one epiphany that you want a person to have.
Yep.
And then reverse engineering it.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. But it's having I think you're spot on. It's having that base structure in play.
Yeah.
Because my head's always in the clouds, mate. So, and if your head's always in the clouds, you probably won't get much done. But you're always coming up with these creative ideas. But as long as you've got that base structure to come back. So it is that balancing game of, okay, what's our objective here? What do we want to achieve?
Yes.
With this story. And so if you keep coming back to that, and I think we've all sort of fallen into the trap of maybe sometimes you're like, okay, we've just got to wait till the sun gets to here, right? And we need this shade and we just need to get this shot. And it's like, it's neither here nor there. And it doesn't help the story, So it's sort of just, I think, putting your ego aside as well and going, okay, that's going to be a really nice shot, but does it add to the story? Does it help move the story along?
Exactly.
I think that's sometimes I get on site and I'm a bumbling idiot for 20 minutes, but then I start to click in. So do you start with what do I want to achieve, and you've got your shot list and you understand where you want to go, but then you're always open to, improvising if something's happening in the time? Like how's your workflow around telling a great story?
Yeah, that's good. The main thing, if I take it one step back.
Yes.
When it comes to, if I use builders as an example, where a lot of times when we have builders come on board, we'll go, okay, we'll get clear on what is that vision for them. What's that why behind them? what makes them unique. And when we do ask them the question, like, what makes them different, generally, the biggest thing is like, we're professional. We have a great team. We'll care for your project, things like that.
Yeah.
Which are all good things. But the problem is that if every builder says the same, then how does a prospective client able to know who to choose? And then what then happens is they default to price. They default to going, what's the cheapest builder? Because they all seem similar.
Yes.
And
correct.
so a lot of times we challenge our builders to go, okay, cool. I love that you do quality and I love that you care and that you're professional and you're on time. But those are like the general things for business. Well, now let's go a step deeper because there is something in them. It's just them trying to get it out. So
yep, I like it.
A lot of times with the stories, and it's actually just getting clear on what that is. And that's where we really go like, what does make you unique? And sometimes it might be the background. It might be the story, the journey that they've been on to what got them to where they are now. It might be every builder's different. Every builder's got that uniqueness to it. And that's why we try and really figure out what that is. And along with that, we try and figure out what's their why. There's that book of, not sure if you read this, Shea, but Simon Sinek, Start With Why.
Yep.
I love that guy in the sense of really uncovering your why kind of thing. And I know sometimes people go, well, why do I need to get clear on my why? But a why is such a powerful tool. It's not only there to get you driven and get up in the morning so you can go out and change the world. That's one thing. But the other thing is that's a great way to connect to people, because once people know what your why is and it's something that lines up with them, you might have had this, Shea, talking to someone and you're like, you hear their why and you're like, oh my word, I'm so sold out with your vision there that I'm like, I want to be a part of whatever you are doing. Someone like Dwayne does this very, very well.
He does.
And you would have seen this firsthand, working with him.
For sure. Yeah. Mate, I totally agree. I think also what you were just talking about before, the default is to look sideways at what your competition's doing. And it's just easy to fit in with what everyone... We build quality homes because we love what we do. So, well, what the hell does that mean? No, but it's like... but it's just that it's playing it safe. And it is, as you said, the more you dig, the more you start to unravel the layers of that person. You start to find out, that, and you're spot on. Like if you want to differentiate yourself in the building world, if everyone's the same, well, then why not just go with the lowest price? Because you're all the same, So it's a broken system, isn't it?
It is.
That needs a good overhaul. So obviously, mate, I think even with what you do, you are helping people create clarity around why. It's easy to say that, I'm really passionate about this, but why?
Yeah.
What makes you tick? What makes you get out of bed? What makes you not want to go to bed because you love what you're doing? So it's working all those things out. And I think it sounds like, mate, you've got an absolute talent and gift to get that out of the people. I've seen some of your videos, mate. It's top quality work. It's really good. So, but then there's the scariness of going, well, hang on, I am unique and I'm different. But if I start putting that out to the world, am I going to be shit on? Are people going to say, hey, stay in your lane, buddy? Do you know what I mean? And so that's like not on top of the default, which is just, I'm a builder. I'm passionate. I love what I do. I don't want to stick my head out then I don't want to be someone that is different to everyone else because then people may dislike me or, I may get some hate or someone may hate, one of my videos or something. So, but I think that's part of it. It's like, there's probably a majority of people that is like, let's just play it safe. Just keep it safe and everything will be hunky-dory, which, as you know, just doesn't work. You've got to differentiate yourself. You've got to find your niche. You've got to work out, really hone in on what's going on. And I think when you start breaking through that, you're going to get people that are going to backlash against that. And that's okay. I think in some ways that means that things are working when people start to question,
100%.
But if you're passionate about what you do, you keep driving forward with that message, and and then it just becomes the way, I suppose.
That's it's very true what you say there. Like I think there's this thing with us Australians is that you don't want to stand out too much because then someone will say something, and it kind of comes back to that. It's kind of like personal branding, but it's also like people they struggle to put themselves out there, and I think the more we're going into this, and I'm learning a lot more of this as well, is just that if you are clear on your why and why you are on earth, why are you here, why do you get up in the morning? And let's say it is you want to impact the lifestyle, the families that you build for, and really have them foster something that's an amazing home where the kids can grow up healthy and they can have awesome times together. Like if you know your why, if you don't put that out, you're doing a disservice to all those potential families and people that you might be helping.
I 100% agree with that, mate. I've thought about this a lot as well. And to me, it's almost an obligation that if you've got that skill set that can help solve problems for people, and if you see it as an obligation to help, it would be a real disservice to not move forward with that. Whatever that may be. It doesn't have to even be from the realm of building. It can be from anything. It's like, some people are put on this earth and they've got special gifts, and it'd be a real shame if you went to your deathbed and no one knew about your special gift, And
that's right.
It kind of scares the shit out of me, mate, to not...
That's that deathbed thing there. I literally had that revelation a few months ago. It was like, when I get to the end of my life and I look back and I'm super disappointed on what I didn't do or what, and I really had to sit down, get quiet and think about it. And it was like not putting myself out of my comfort zone, just living in my comfort zone. I'd be very disappointed if I did that, and that I didn't live out the gift or the talent that I'd been given, and I didn't live that out. I'd be very disappointed. And I started writing all these things down, and it was like this realization of like, oh my word, I can't just be taking it easy every day and coast and do this. I could be impacting just like everybody else, impacting so many people out there. And that was just like this little wake up for me to go, flip, man, like I need to start going harder at this, because there's so many people out there that also have amazing stories and things like that. I don't know how you feel about this kind of stuff, Shea.
Oh, mate, it scares the living shit out of me. I like what you just said, it goes through my head a lot. It's like, what's my story going to be on my deathbed when I don't have energy to pick up the pen or write an email or, I'm past.
What do you think for you though? How does that?
That word obligation comes back. I know that I've got some special talents and gifts.
100%.
That I'm quite, it would be a real shame to go to your deathbed with not doing any of that stuff. And so that is definitely a driver for me, and
that's so good.
I think about my deathbed a lot, mate. Not a lot, but it pops up and it's like, okay, well,
that's so good.
How do I want that to look? Like, I don't want to have, but you got to put yourself out there. You got to fail. You got to do things that, sort of bring it to a head, and go, okay, that's
100%.
That's my flow. That's my focus. That's where I'm the most energetic. That's where I don't want to go to bed. I just want to start and get this done. Yeah. So
that's cool.
And in some ways, mate, to tell you the truth, that's something I've fought with a lot. I've clashed with, and instead of actually letting the gut decide, I've mucked it up with the head. So and
exactly.
But that's the thing, is I'm starting to now really knuckle in and hone in, and in a world where you can be so unfocused, it's about actually getting that clarity around. Okay, where do you want to go? Because I think we've all been in that state of flow at points, and that flow it's a powerful thing when you get in that state and it's like, I'm locked in. I know exactly, and this is cool. This is a cool spot to be.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think it's finding that space more often than not.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And
it might be, like you say there, it might be different for every person, where you got to get quiet and kind of just ask these questions. Yep. I find the hardest thing sometimes, or the best thing, is when someone else is asking these questions. Like, let's say you're asking me or I'm asking you. Sometimes that's when you're like, oh my word, this stuff coming out. Where's this coming from?
Yeah. Well, the one thing I do know, mate, is, and this is just me personally, is I've got to get it out of my head. So you just asking me questions like that, I'll actually start to think about it and say, oh, okay, hang on. But things start to clarify. Like I will talk to a psychologist as often as I can, just to get things out of my head.
Yeah.
And I think that to me is just once it's out of my head, I can sleep better. Like it's just, but I think,
100%.
Yeah. And I think, your head can be in the clouds for a lot of time, and you can just, the wheels can be spinning. You're not actually moving forward or nothing's, but it's like, okay. So I think, mate, like I get a lot out of these podcasts, mate, just by listening to what you've got to say, because I knew I was going to come into this podcast learning something from yourself. So yeah, I appreciate that, mate. Mate, you, so for BizVideo, when you're not doing storytelling and helping builders run better businesses, are you playing a bit of golf? What do you do to unwind?
Yeah, that's good. For me, unwinding, it's golf. I've always loved playing golf. It's just getting out there. It's a game that you can never beat it.
Yep.
Every day, the wind's different, the grass is grown, it's all different. And so that's been a massive passion of mine. But then I also enjoy things like calisthenics training and even things like surfing. Not that I get out that much now, having my second kid on the way, things like that.
Congratulations, mate. Like it's
Thanks,
the second kid coming. It's not far away.
Yeah, it's like a few weeks away. Yeah,
right.
So it's all happening.
You're well out of your comfort zone, mate. Don't worry about that.
Definitely. No, this year is one of those years. But I really love doing all that kind of stuff. But then I also just enjoy even like for me, doing business, but even just telling stories and things like that. That's just that's like a hobby for me too. It's just a passion.
Yep.
It's I just know that it's something that can really just help a business so much. And so like you, I'm reading books on storytelling and just trying to learn more and how to better communicate.
Mate, I really take my hat off to you. I can't say it too many times but mate, like just meeting you in the flesh on the event day and then just hearing, everything that you had to say about the science behind storytelling and just delving deeper, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you on the podcast today, because it's, you've got me thinking about other things that, maybe I haven't actually, considered before. But thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate your time to jump on, and you're always welcome up here, mate. Anytime you want to jump in the sauna and do some breath work and but like obviously I'm just going to go back for 1 second. Go for it. Your brain is working at a high level all the time, and you said sometimes look, it's great to be daydreaming and your head up in the clouds. How do you slow your brain down so it's not always in your head, or just constantly there's the inner voice? How do you slow yourself down, mate?
Right, that's a good question.
Golf's probably one, I suppose. Is
golf's one of it.
Yep.
There's probably a couple things. One is I would love to get more of like like the sauna, sitting there, even like in an ice bath, and just kind of just give the body that bit of a shock, and then sitting there and stuff. But for me, it's sitting in the morning, just early morning sunrise, and just sitting there, and I'll journal and I'll just be quiet, because just through that to get more clarity and things, because sometimes you just get, like you say, there's just so much stuff happening, chaos,
for sure.
This world, the online world, and all this stuff, and running a business and all that kind of so it's getting, like you say, quiet, and then being able to get clear and go, why am I doing what am I doing today? And kind of reflecting back to that deathbed thing that you were saying, like just to get real sometimes, because you only get one life. So I went on a tangent there.
No. I totally agree. I'm looking for that second life that we've got. Well, maybe the second, third is like, could we live to 300? I don't know. By the time this podcast comes out and, we look back at it in 5-10 years from now, has AI created something that we go, oh, by the way, guys, you thought you had one life, you now have 3 lives. So, and you've so got like a little thing on your arm with 3 little markers, and every time one goes up, I'm now probably quoting Jumanji or one of those films, but it's like, but I'm pretty sure we've only got one life. Make the most of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't rely on AI for that second and third
100%. And I think like where we're moving with AI and stuff, I really love what you're doing, especially with your podcast, like with doing it in a sauna and the whole thing that you're doing with Saunas and the whole thing there. That's super cool, because honestly, where everything is moving, it's going to be where people need to be able to just spend time in a sauna or do an ice bath. And
that's it, mate. Look, as I said, anytime you're up the sunny coast, you're always welcome. But that was a big part of it, is the experience. Yeah. So we do a bit of breath work to really quieten the brain, jump in the ice bath. It shocks the hell out of you. But then you jump in the sauna and you've kind of got this blank slate of clarity to start the conversation. And the reason I actually started this, mate, is because I'd go to the gym and then jump in the sauna straight after. And whoever wanted, like, poor person, whoever was sitting beside me had to listen to my shit. But by the end of it, you know, you're oozing out all this sweat, but you're also working out the cure for cancer, or, you know what I mean? Like, there's all this cool stuff comes out, and you start to connect with the person beside you. But it's heightened because you are sitting in, like, it's almost cheating, but you're sitting in a state of your blood pressure's up, your heart's pumping. Yeah. So all these cool stuff's happening, but you become funnier. The stories are richer, and so that's why I sort of thought, okay, there's something in this to actually keep exploring.
Well, I love that why behind it. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. So look, mate, you're always welcome up here anytime you come up. But
I'd love to. Yeah.
Mate, thank you so much for sharing your story, but also on storytelling. And mate, if people want to go check out BizVideo, where do they go?
Just go to our Instagram page. It's just at BizVideo. And that's, pretty much everything from there can lead you wherever, whether it's our podcast or whatever.
Nice. Yeah, go check it, especially if you're a builder. Go check out the bloody podcast, because there's some really good stories to be told on there. But even, you know, just the storytelling that you're doing through BizVideo, just check out some of the videos because it's all quality stuff. Mate, Andre, I really appreciate your time today, mate. Thanks so much,
Shea, for having me on. Yeah,
cheers, mate. Appreciate it. And everyone at home, don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you for the next one.
Epic. Thanks, Shea.